Have you ever felt like your character's voice was too much like your own? Ever feel like your NPCs all sound the same? Ever wish you could have a cool, interesting, or even unique character voice? Well, then look no further than today's episode. Hello and welcome to RPG PhD. I'm Dr. Ben, and today we will discuss 5 tips for better character voices. As a lifelong gaming enthusiast and theater professional, I have played with all experience levels, from professional actors to first-time role players. The good news is that you don't need professional actor training to be able to create memorable, interesting, and unique character voices. One important thing to mention is that great character voices usually depend less on our ability to create impressive inflections, intonations, and demonstrations of supreme acting ability, but rather that the voice that you create fits the character you are portraying. So before you even begin to create a voice, have some ideas about who your character is and what such a character might sound like. What is your character trying to convey? Is your character intimidating or friendly, scary or whimsical? Having an idea about who your character is will help you find a voice that fits. First, start by thinking about and listening to your normal speaking voice. Strange, I know, as you may not hear it all the time. But have you ever stopped to think about what you sound like? Or really listened to yourself speak? I know for many of us, myself included, we don't really like to hear the sound of our own voice. But this will give you a baseline place to start, as awareness of your own vocal sound is key. Because if you don't know how you sound normally, it's harder to change it when you want to sound different. Now, one way to make your character voice different from your own is to change one of your vocal qualities. The first is pitch, which is the relative highness or lowness of a tone as perceived by the ear. So you could lower your normal speaking voice like this, so that your voice sounds a little deeper, or you could make your voice even deeper still. Maybe your tough dwarf warrior has a deep gravelly voice when they speak. Or you could take your normal speaking voice and then pitch it a little bit higher, or you could even pitch it higher, which does, admittedly, with me anyway, start to sound cartoonish or ridiculous or like a bad impression of a certain mouse. But depending on your character, that sort of voice could be entirely appropriate. Because I'm a pixie, damn it! Your mileage may vary, but the important thing to think about is your character's voice higher or lower or the same as your normal speaking voice? Our number 2 vocal quality is rhythm or pattern of speech, which is the sense of movement in speech marked by the stress, timing, and quantity of syllables. This one is really effective for differentiating individuals because so often characters are associated with their recognizable vocal patterns. William Shatner and Christopher Walken both have distinctive speech patterns, for example. So maybe you have a thoughtful character that places pauses between every word, so that when they speak, they sound as if every word is important, or that they really like to think before they speak. Or perhaps you have an angry warlock character who likes to emphasize every word or syllable when they speak as if there were a dozen periods in a sentence. Or you could mix and match these ideas to create something completely unique. Remember, when using rhythm or pattern of speech, your choices are nearly endless. So don't be afraid to experiment and find that voice that is right for your character. Think about your own natural vocal rhythm and how you would like your characters to be different. Number 3 is speech tempo, the speed at which your character speaks. This can actually be calculated in the number of words spoken in a minute, or WPM. So maybe you have a cunning rogue character who talks really fast because they're trying to stay out of trouble or talk their way out of difficult situations. Or conversely, maybe you have a low-intelligence barbarian character that talks really slow. Notice that even though my tempo is slower, I'm not placing pauses between the words of the speech like I would if I were focused on vocal rhythm. I'm just slowing down how I speak the words by stretching out each syllable. You can think of vocal tempo as a dial that you can set to really fast or really slow or anywhere in between. What is your normal voice tempo, and does your character speak faster or slower than you do naturally? Number 4 is vocal inflection, how we change the tone or pitch of our voice to convey precise meaning or provide insight to our feelings. So inflection can be rising, falling, level, or a combination. Upward inflection is when we go from a lower tone to a higher tone, like when we ask a question or are surprised. What? Really? Wow! Downward reflection is the opposite, when we go from a low tone to a higher one. This can convey finality or certainty. No, go, now. A flat or level inflection where we don't have a change in tone can show indifference or disinterest. Fine, maybe, whatever. And a combined inflection has both a rising and falling tone, like amazing, awesome, cool. So if you had a low-level monk character who was insecure or not the most confident, then a portion of their character expression could have a rising inflection. You should search the ancient library, it's perfectly safe. Or maybe you have a no-nonsense elven ranger who commands respect, and their word is the final one on any subject. We will go to the dark forest right now. Again, notice how character traits plays into the choices you make for how to use these techniques to create a voice that fits your concept. One quick aside, another trick to get people to listen to your character when they speak is to lower your voice and become quieter. It shows you have something important to say, as if you're sharing a secret. Number 5 is what I call manner of speaking, which includes attributes pulled directly from your character. These could be emotional qualities like angry, sad, indifferent, or they could be state of being characteristics like excited, bored, arrogant, or awkward. Or they could be related directly to their stats like intelligence, charisma, or wisdom. By thinking about a few of these for your character, you can create some vocal mannerisms or idiosyncrasies that match well with your character. Like a hyper-intelligent wizard who has seen it all, so maybe they are constantly bored and unimpressed by what they encounter in the world. Maybe they sigh with existential dread. Why am I here again? Or maybe you have a cocky fighter who's always ready to throw down, so they constantly ask, you want to fight me? You want to fight me? You can think about it like a character's catchphrase or consistent vocal mannerism. This will also depend on the tone of your game, whether it's serious or comedic or some combination. Sometimes just taking a single major defining characteristic and building your vocal style around that can be super useful for finding a voice that fits. And one last thing in this category that can be useful is the use of in-world jargon. Jargon is special words or expressions that are used by a particular profession or group and are usually difficult for others to understand. Think about terms that doctors and lawyers might use, like carotid arteriitis or quid pro quo. Back in Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition in the Planescape Rules supplements, they had all these jargon or slang terms for planar travelers. So if you were traveling the planes, you might hear someone say, that Burke should really stop rattling his bone box or some basher's going to smash his brain box and put him in the dead book. Basically, these sorts of in-game jargon can help to add flavor to your character's manner of speech. So go and experiment with these techniques and let me know how it turns out. I'm interested to hear your thoughts about your experience with creating character voices, so please post your comments or tips below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. RPG PhD, just what the doctor ordered.